6 years ago, a truck driver high on meth killed two women. That driver was just sentenced to life in prison. But the state of Florida took 5 years to suspend his commercial driver's license. And new tonight, ABC Action News reporter Michael Paluska digging deeper into why a career criminal with a history of drug abuse and DUIs was still allowed behind the wheel.
He weaponized a vehicle. He rolled right over them. You know, he drove and he didn't even know it.
Kathleen O Callaghan feels pain, anger, grief, and other emotions none of us will ever understand when she thinks about how her sister Katie died on December 30th, 2011.
As Dan says, they should not be remembered for the worst 5 minutes of their lives. They should be remembered for all the joy and all the goodness they brought to this world.
Katie and her best friend, Jennifer Jenkins, were driving to Orlando from Naples. Jenkins' husband, Dan, caravanning in a vehicle behind, their newborn daughter with him. Crime scene photos from the crash near Wauchula in Hardy County showed just how gruesome the collision was, but pictures only tell half the tale.
There was nothing stopping him from doing what he was doing. Nothing followed him. Nothing stopped him from getting that job.
The semi-truck driver, Michael Phillips, was high on meth.
There was so much meth in his system. One of the experts testified that typically somebody with that much meth, they only see them dead.
I had to really grab the wheel, turn it, yank it, and miss his semi from hitting me and killing me and my daughter also.
We spoke to Jennifer's husband over FaceTime. His car flipped during the accident, his daughter dangling upside down from her car seat, pulled from the wreck. Both survived, but years later, Jenkins says the laws in place do little, if anything, to protect the public.
There's no background check or nothing on him. I think at CDL, we should have higher standards.
In 1989, Phillips was convicted of DUI in Alabama. Years later, he got another DUI in Highlands County, completing mandatory treatment for substance abuse. And he has convictions for cocaine possession. Nearly a year after the 2011 crash, Phillips was arrested for 2 counts of DUI manslaughter, but his license wasn't suspended until 2016.
It's unacceptable. It really is unacceptable. There's no reason drivers should be allowed, or people with a CDL should be allowed to drive if they have a drug conviction or a test positive for drugs.
Phillips was driving a truck he didn't own, hired out by 2 brothers to deliver oranges. The truck's owner testifying he just cashed the checks and had absolutely no contact with Phillips. Months after the crash, that company went under. O'Callaghan wonders how many more semi-truck drivers like Phillips are on the road.
I don't know if they're the person who's taken meth 2 hours before to make sure they stay awake, or if they're the person who knows they have a responsibility to protect the people who are driving on the roads with them.
Jennifer was a nurse. She saved lives for a living. Katie worked for Save the Children, both dedicating their lives to helping others. The friends were given death sentences. Phillips got a life sentence. And for the first time after 6 years, O'Callaghan says the system didn't fail them.
This gave us a little bit of peace in knowing that he will never be able to do this to anyone else.
Currently, there is no database that tracks drivers who test positive for drugs or driving impaired.
No, they would definitely want this to make a change in the system.
In Naples, Michael Paluska, ABC Action News.